What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Action Force Condor and Action Force Steel Brigade Soldier from ValaVerse. And I'm very excited to be talking about these guys because I've been following what ValaVerse has had going on for like the last year or so, and it's all been very interesting because Bobby Vala is a very knowledgeable guy when it comes to the creation of action figures, and he's been sharing a lot of behind the scenes content for the creation of Action Force. So to see all that stuff and then like now finally having the figures in hand, it's very inspiring, you know? Like, I would love to be able to get involved in that kind of stuff one of these days, but it's very cool to finally have these, and the figures look awesome, so I'm excited to talk about them. I do have the entire first wave, and I do plan on reviewing them, but I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to review them. I might, like, double them up like this. I decided to review these two guys together because the figures do look very similar. That's not really the case with the rest of the wave, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the packaging, you are able to see the figures through the window here, but there's a lot of glare because there's a couple layers of plastic in there so that the figures don't kind of bang up against the box and like the paint gets scratched or anything like that. So there was like protective measures put in place to keep the figure looking nice, and I'm glad to see that it worked. But yeah, it makes it hard to see the figure through the window here. And then up front, it does say Action Force. Down here, it says Steel Brigade. You got the ValaVerse logo here in the corner. On the side, it says Action Force. And then on the back, we get a bunch of information about the Steel Brigade. So if you want to read that, be sure to check it out. I love that they put so much information about the characters. I think that's awesome. And then up here, we get a look at the rest of the figures that are in Wave 1. On the side, we get some really nice looking artwork of the Steel Brigade Soldier. That looks nice. And then same kind of thing going on with Condor. You know, it says his name down here at the bottom. On the side, we get some really nice looking artwork. On the back, we get a biography of the character. This guy is an actual like specific character. The Steel Brigade is like an army builder. And then we get a look at the other figures. And yeah, that's about it for the packaging. It is collector friendly and all that good stuff, but let's go ahead and open these guys up and take a look. All right, so here we have both figures right out of their boxes. And as you can see, these things came out freaking awesome. Both of these guys are badass. I'm very impressed with what we have going on here. But before we get too deep into detail on these figures, there is one thing that I wanted to address very quickly. So apparently there was some problems with some early copies of these figures, but fortunately ValaVerse kind of got in front of it and made a video discussing exactly what the problems were. And honestly, it really wasn't a big deal. The thing was that because of temperature changes and things like that, some of the joints were kind of getting stuck. So basically, all you had to do was just stick these guys into some hot water and then you'd be good to go. It was awesome because ValaVerse actually made like a video discussing exactly what to do. It's very helpful for people that may not be as well versed in like this action figure thing as some other people. So I thought that was cool. And they also sent like a document along with the actual figures, just kind of laying out what you should do. And it's all very simple and easy to do. And like I said, I mean, putting some figures in some hot water is really not a big deal, and that's kind of common practice for me whenever I open a new figure. I either put it in some hot water or heat it up with a blow dryer, whatever method makes sense for that particular figure. But, you know, lots of companies have that issue where we get like stuck joints and everything, and to me, it's really not a big problem. But I like the way they handled it. You know, they took it very serious. They put the information out there so that everybody knew, and I think it was awesome. So for me, with these two guys, with Condor, I did have to put him in hot water for a long time, and I did kind of have to mess with it, and I had to take it really slow. But for the Steel Brigade figure, I really didn't have to put him in water. Right out of the box, his joints were okay, but I still put him in hot water just to be safe, you know, and just kind of get him to move a little bit more freely, and just so that I could push the limits of the articulation. So yeah, like it's a case-by-case basis. With Condor, I definitely had to do it. With the Steel Brigade Soldier, not so much. So, you know, like I said, it is what it is. It's one of those things that kind of happens sometimes with action figures, and to me, it's not a big deal. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and talk about these awesome figures because these things are very, very impressive. Both of these guys have pretty much the exact same sculpt as far as the body is concerned. Obviously, they have different heads, and I noticed that the knee pads are different. But aside from those two things, these figures are completely identical in regards to sculpt. But they did a lot of things to make the figures feel different with the paint and like the designs of the vests and stuff. The vests are exactly the same, but the colors and things like that make them look different. So I think they did a good job of mixing up parts and mixing up paint schemes and things like that to make it all work. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at these guys in detail, starting with Condor. So let's go ahead and remove his helmet. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, this thing looks awesome. All the joints are very well hidden. It's very well sculpted, and he just looks really, really good. And then taking a closer look at the details on Condor, starting off with the head sculpt, I think they did a pretty good job with this. I like that there's a bit of a wash in there to bring out some of the details. The eyes look pretty good, but I don't know, something about his facial expression looks kind of funny to me. Honestly, I like the alternate head sculpt a bit more. And I like some of the other head sculpts that I've seen in the line more than this one, but I think it's well executed, but something about his eyes, he just kind of looks like he's making a weird face. But, you know, they did a good job with the details and everything. The hair looks nice. Got the brown with the lighter highlights. So, yeah, pretty good work on the head sculpt. And then moving down into the body, check out the details on the vest here. And look how clean the paint is on these emblems. Like on the flag right here. Damn, that's hella clean. And then over here too. Really, really clean. Look how nice that... Man, that is really, really nice. Damn, for such a small little logo, the details on that are super clean and nice. Like, it's perfect. I don't see any imperfections on there. Man. Really nice stuff. Same thing with this here. It's not as impressive because the one on the shoulder, it's a little bit more detailed. And there's other things going on in there. It's not like a simple design, but it's still very clean. This one here on his vest is a little more simple, but it's equally well done. Same thing over here with the flag. Yeah, the logos and stuff look really good. And moving down into the rest of the vest, you could see that they painted a couple of things here and there to bring out some of the details. So that's always nice. I love that it's not just one like solid color. So that's good. We do have these magazines right here, and they are a different color, but they're also removable. Check that out. I know it's getting a little dark here, but there we go. You got these removable magazines. You could stuff them right in, and there you go. But those are awesome. And then moving around to the back here, we have some straps and buckles and stuff. He does have a knife sheath. I thought I had the knife in there, my bad, but here we go. Bam. The knife fits in there with no problem at all, and it looks good. I don't know if I'm putting it in there the right way. Let's try this way. I guess either way works, but there we go. That makes more sense. Check out the details up here too. I like all these scuffs and marks. It doesn't look like a new vest, that's for sure. So yeah, the vest is really cool. Moving on to the rest of the body, you could see here that we have like a pocket or something that's kind of ripped up, it looks like. Or no, I guess it's not ripped. It's just like a pocket that's kind of folded in there. But yeah, that looks good. All the details on the clothing look nice. Ooh, pinless elbows. Very nice. And pinless knees. Very, very nice. Good stuff there. Moving on to over here. Nothing special going on with the hands, but you can see there's some sculpted details on there. He has like the belt that's actually sculpted onto him, and then he has this loose belt that kind of floats around. Moving down into the legs, we have some nice details, and then we do have these, like the gun holster here on the side that is removable, so some more like customizing type of options. We've got a gun here that's removable. This gun is awesome too. So good work on the gun, and it, whoa, I missed the holster. It's all good. Over here we have like a canteen looking kind of thing. The kneecaps have like some sculpting work on there. And as I mentioned before, the kneecaps on the two figures are different. Basically the only differences in the sculpts aside from the heads. So there we go. And then we have the boots. The boots look nice. Not a whole lot of paint work. Basically they just painted the buckles. But very nicely sculpted. So yeah, the details on this guy are pretty insane. Lots of sculpting work, lots of nice paint work, and just a lot of really good stuff going on. So, and then as for the Steel Brigade figure, as I said before, the sculpting work is exactly the same as it is on Condor, but the colors really do make it feel like a completely different figure. I love the way the blue and the green look together. The vest is the exact same sculpt, but the different colors do make it feel different. And the head sculpt on the Steel Brigade figure is very nice. I love that it kind of has like a generic look, so you could use it for all kinds of different things. It kind of reminds me of like a souped up shield agent or something like that, you know. So I think this is awesome. I like the silver on the side of the face. I like the silver covering the mouth there, and then the light blue for the glasses that is a nice contrast to the dark colors on the rest of the head. So I think that looks really good. It's all very clean and nice looking. So they did a good job with that head sculpt. I like it a lot. Then moving down into the body, as I said before, all the sculpting work is the same on these two figures, but the paint work is different. So this one here, with the colors that they used on the vest, you're able to see the details a lot more. You can see there's a bunch of pouches and straps and things like that. They did color these little pieces here to make them stand out, so that's nice. We do have the removable magazines once again. On the back, we have the removable knife. Swing! There we go. That's awesome. Yeah, so it looks really good. And as you can see here, he does have that pocket on the arm, but it's not painted, so it's kind of hidden in there. And I just noticed that the elbows are different. So that's another thing that's different between these two figures. So the knees and the elbows, so that's cool. But aside from that, the sculpt is identical. But yeah, it's all very well done. We have the removable gun holster on the side, housing his black gun here. So this looks nice. The gun does seem to be identical to Condor's gun, but that's all good. I like the different colors on them. And then we have this piece, which is removable as well. So yeah, good stuff. Really nicely sculpted. Both of these figures have a lot of great sculpting work and a lot of great paint work. So they really did a good job. I think both of these figures look awesome. And one thing that's very cool about these figures, but it's also a little bit frustrating, is the fact that the vests come off. I mean, I love the fact that they're removable. That's not the frustrating thing. What's kind of difficult is trying to get them back onto the figures. So they come off very easy. There's a couple of pegs right here that stick into these holes, and you just, you know, unfasten them and then you're good to go. But it's damn near impossible to get them back on. I've had to use like a little screwdriver, and I just kind of like force the peg back into the holes here. But if you don't do that, it's really hard to get these things on and off. So I love the fact that they're removable because it gives you a bunch of different options. And you know, it also makes it to where you could fully articulate the figures and all that kind of cool stuff. But I really wish that there was a way for them to have it to where you could just put the vest on without any problem. And originally I thought like maybe there wasn't like any space in here for the pegs to like kind of, for the plastic surrounding the pegs to kind of push up on, and you know, give enough room for the peg to slide all the way through. But there is, you know, like you could see that there's little cutouts there. So I'm not really sure how come, I mean, I'm not really sure why the pegs won't go in back into the holes. I'm like pushing these motherfuckers. I'm like heating them up, doing all kinds of stuff. It just doesn't work out. But, you know, I have a small screwdriver and I'm able to just kind of force the peg back into the hole. Doesn't damage it at all. And then it just kind of, it gets the vest back on the way that I want it. So I love that they're removable though, so don't get me wrong. I just kind of wish that the peg situation was handled just a little bit better. And then for accessories, both of these guys come with a bunch of cool stuff, but let's go ahead and start off with the hands, because each of them come with 4 different sets. So first off, we have a pair of fists, and then we have a set of generic gripping hands, and then we have a set of trigger finger hands, and then finally, we have a set of cuffed hands. And I think these are really cool because you could use these to support the different guns that they come with. And I think these are going to be really useful to get them into very realistic, natural looking gun holding poses. So I like that they came with these. We really don't see these with a lot of different action figures. So I think these are going to be useful. And another cool thing that they both come with are these awesome looking stands. And these are really dope. As you can see, it does say Action Force right there. And then it does have like 4 pegs. So you have some options as to how you want to position your figures on the stands. But these do look very, very cool. They kind of have a metallic look to them. And yeah, I think they're awesome. They do a good job of holding onto the figure. It is kind of hard to get the figure onto the stand for the first time. You might have to heat up the feet just a little bit. But once you do it once, I mean, it comes on and off with no problem at all. So, yeah, not a big deal. Just got to heat the feet up a little bit. But yeah, these do look really nice. In addition to the hands, the stands, and the other things that we've already looked at, each figure comes with their own unique accessories as well. Starting off with this guy because he does come with a lot less than Condor. But he has this awesome looking rifle. And I'm sure this is based on an actual real gun. But I'm not really a gun guy, so I can't really tell you like the details behind that. So if anyone in the comments wants to let us know, feel free to do so, and maybe I'll pin the comment so people could see what kind of gun this is. But it does look nice. It's very well sculpted. It's very clean looking. I love how it does have the removable magazine. That is always fun. But yeah, this is a great looking gun, and he looks awesome holding it, and he can hold it without any problem at all. Looks really good. And then aside from that, the only unique thing he comes with is this awesome looking Steel Brigade patch. So That'd be cool to kind of throw in your backpack or something. But yeah, the gun itself is nice. It would be nice if he came with some alternate heads because he is an army builder, so it would be cool to like swap some different heads on him. And then as for Condor, he actually has a lot more accessories than the Steel Brigade figure. Starting off with this awesome alternate head. I actually like this head more than the other head that was on him, but this looks really good. Very well sculpted. I like how you could see the eyes, and the mask has a bunch of detail and stuff, so that looks really, really nice. And then he also has a helmet that you could put on. And the helmet works on both heads, but I feel like it works a little better on this head, and it fits on better too. So that looks really nice. It's got these goggles in the front, and the helmet actually has some really nice sculpting work too. So good stuff there. Lots of display options with this guy. And then he does have his gun. Once again, I don't know exactly what kind of gun this is, but it looks pretty realistic. It's very well sculpted. It looks like, oh, I thought that was like a serial number or something. I was going to say, damn. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, that looks good. And it does have the removable magazine as well. And I like how these magazines have a more metallic look to them. I think that's cool. Then he does have like a handle you could hold right there. And I forgot to mention it with the other guns, but all of these guns that these figures come with actually have peg holes for muzzle flares. So there's different muzzle flares that you could get in the weapons packs. And then you could put them on to these guns. So that is awesome. But yeah, this is a good looking weapon. So even though this guy doesn't come with any additional heads, I thought it would be fun to do a couple of quick head swaps. So let's go ahead and start off with the head that came with Condor. And I think this works because the greens of the mask kind of match the greens of the pants. So look at that. That is a really dope option. I think that is super cool. But let's get crazy. Let's get interesting with it. I just have a couple of head swaps, nothing crazy. Let's go ahead and put Duke's head on here. And does it pop on? Yeah, it popped on. But this is Duke from G.I. Joe Classified, obviously. And I've always been a huge fan of that head sculpt. I think it looks really good on this body. Check that out. And one thing that I think is really cool about this body is that there's no skin showing. So you could put different types of heads on there. So I got Roadblock, and the head goes on here, but once it goes all the way down, it's a little loose. So you might have to do something to bring it up a little bit, and it just might be a little too big. No, actually that looks okay. Yeah, you could do something cool with that. Just kind of looks like he has a big head because of the beard. But, you know, that might work. And let's see what else we have. One last one, actually. And this is like the greatest head of all time. Oh, so with this one, when you pop it on, it's a little loose. So what I like to do is stuff a little bit of tissue into the hole just to make it a little tighter. And then once you put it on there, it won't be flopping around. But yeah, check that out. This head makes every figure look better. Look at that. Just an old dude out in the field doing his thing. Awesome stuff. So even though he didn't come with any head sculpts, there's a lot of fun you could have with this like generic looking body with throwing different heads on there. So alright, so now for some quick size comparisons. You know we have to get this started by showing them alongside some G.I. Joe Classified stuff. So on the left we have the G.I. Joe Classified Flynn, and on the right we have the G.I. Joe Classified Beachhead. And I think these Action Force figures look awesome next to G.I. Joe. They're very compatible with each other, and I think both lines are going to be a lot of fun to mix up and just kind of create different teams and armies and that type of thing. I think the fact that these are so compatible with G.I. Joe Classified is going to appeal to a lot of people, because it just kind of makes it to where you could like add depth to your teams with your G.I. Joe stuff, you know, or, you know, the other way around. If you want to like focus on Action Force, you could kind of create really good teams by using the G.I. Joe guys as extras. So there's a lot of options here. I just like the way that they made these so compatible with a line that's kind of similar to it, you know. These two lines do have similarities. Obviously, they do feel unique from each other, but I love the way that they mix in together very well. So I think that was a wise choice on their part. And then next up, we have them alongside the G.I. Joe Classified Viper and the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Trooper. Next up, we have them alongside some of my favorite G.I. Joe Classified figures. On the left, we have the Amazon exclusive, I think it was, Roadblock. And on the right, we have Lady J, and that thing is awesome. And then moving away from G.I. Joe stuff, here we have them alongside the Jazzwares Havoc from Fortnite. And that's another figure that is going to be very compatible with this line. So that's kind of awesome. And then over here, we have a Black Series Stormtrooper. And then now for some Marvel Legends, here we have them alongside the Marvel Legends Captain America, the First Avenger Cap, and then the Infinity War Captain America. And I think that people are going to come up with some pretty cool stuff with these Action Force figures hanging out with this Captain America. And then, of course, here we have them alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. Here we have them alongside the Hasbro Fortnite Midas, I think his name is. Something like that. Midas Rex. I don't know, but this figure is awesome. And then over here we have the Mattel Masterverse He-Man. And then for some more wartime action, here we have them alongside the Marvel Legends Winter Soldier and the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Captain America. Alright, so now for the articulation, we're going to go ahead and use the Steel Brigade figure with the vest off so you could get a good sense of how all the joints move and just how articulated these guys really are. But I do want to show you how well the figures are able to move when they have the vest on. So when we start talking about the torso, at that point I'll go ahead and grab Condor and show you exactly what these figures can do with these vests, because it's pretty impressive. But let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the head. Well, actually, first off, I want to say I really love the articulation setup on these guys. They made a lot of good decisions, and these figures are really fun to play with. But there is one thing I do feel that they could have added to just make them a little bit better. But as it is, I really love the articulation. But let's go ahead and start off at the head. He does have a ball hinge joint, so that means his head can move side to side, which is always nice. He could look down to about right there, which is pretty good, and then he could look up to right there. I do wish that they had a lower neck joint as well. I think that's the one thing these figures are missing. If they would have had that, the articulation would have been pretty much perfect. As it is right now, it's pretty damn close. I would say it's probably like a 9.5, but yeah, I think that lower neck joint would have added just a little bit more to these already awesome figures. But moving on to the torso, we do have a diaphragm cut and a ball joint at the waist, and using both of those, we get some really good movement. This is honestly my favorite torso setup. I really like this. It reminds me of an import figure. So as you can see, we get some really nice movement just in all kinds of different directions. They can move to the side a really good amount. Check that out. Awesome stuff. You can move them back to right there. That's always fun. And then you can move them forward to right there. And then you are able to twist at the torso joints, at the mid torso and at the waist, but it is a little tight, so you might want to be careful. You might want to put a drop of gun oil in there. That's kind of fitting for these guys, right? Yeah, throw a little drop of that in there, and these things will probably move pretty freely. But as it is right now, you could see that it's a little tight. But yeah, I really love the torso setup on these guys. Very awesome. And then, as far as how they can move with the vests on, as you can see, Condor still has his vest, but you still get some pretty good movement. Look how good it goes to the side. And obviously it's like not a crazy amount, but it's pretty impressive considering that he has something covering the whole torso. Look how far it could go back. So that's pretty nice. And go forward. Yeah, just the way they designed the vests still leaves room in there for the figures to move around. And that still makes them fun to handle even with the vests on. You know, obviously these things are pretty comparable to G.I. Joe figures, even in regards to the whole vest situation. But a lot of times with G.I. Joes, they have the vests and you can't really get all that much movement out of them, and they're not removable. In this case, you have the option to take them off, but even if you want to leave them on the figures, they're still fun to handle and you still get some pretty good movement out of the torsos. So that was very impressive. I like that a lot. But then now going back onto the Steel Brigade figure. So at the arms, we do have some butterfly joints for the shoulders, which is nice. So you could get his arm to go back to about right there if you want to get him into like punching poses. So that's pretty good. And then you could get his arms in front of him a really good amount. So pretty nice butterfly joints there. And then we do have ball joints, so that means his arms do go all the way around. They could come out to the side to about right there, but then it gets a little tight. Oh, there we go. You got to force it a little bit. But yeah, his arms do get up a pretty good amount. Let's see here. There we go. So pretty good arm movement going up. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. They have awesome double jointed elbows. Check this out. Bam, look at that. Really nice bends on the elbows. And then at the hands, he does have a swivel. And for the gun holding hands, he has the vertical hinge. For the rest of the hands, he has the standard hinge. And then now for the legs are really impressive too. So he does have drop down hips, and look how far these things come down. Look at that. And it stays tight, you know, it's not like, you know, flopping around or loose or anything. When you drop the hips down, everything still feels tight, you know, and stable. I guess that's a better way to describe it. Everything feels stable. But when you bring the hips down, you can actually kick his leg up a really good amount. That's pretty nice. Bring it back to about right there, which is not a whole lot. You can bring him out to the side a really good amount. Look at that. Get some nice kicking out of it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Really good movement at the hips. And then he does have upper thigh swivel. He's got double jointed knees. Let's check those out. Bam. There we go. They bend to about right there. He has a boot swivel. And then at the foot, we have rocking ankles. And then his foot could go forward to right there. And then they could come up to right there. Not a whole lot coming up because the design of the boot and stuff, but it's all good. It's enough so that you could still stabilize the figure. But yeah, man, the articulation on these things is pretty damn awesome. So they've been a lot of fun to play with. And, you know, I haven't been able to put them down. Actually, I opened up Condor before I had to go to work. And then the whole day I was like, damn, I wish I could go home and play with that damn figure. Because they're just a lot of fun to pose around and mess with. All right, so this review went on much longer than I was expecting. So I'm not going to keep you much longer than I have to. But I just want you guys to know, I think these guys are freaking awesome. They have some really nice detailed sculpting work, some really good clean paint work, some awesome accessories, and some really fun to handle, extremely well done articulation. So in every important category, I think these guys are successful. And ValaVerse did a really great job with them. As far as flaws go, I would say the only thing I think they really need to improve on is the way that the vests fasten. Because once you get the vest off, it's really hard to put them back on and have them stay there securely. So if they could improve on that one thing, these guys would be pretty much perfect. I think fans of G.I. Joe Classified are going to be really into these, or just fans of like army military figures. I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy these. You could fit them in with other lines, just turn them into like goons for you know, Punisher to fight or something like that. There's a lot of possibilities with these type of things. So I think ValaVerse has something really great on their hands, and they're off to a very good start. So I look forward to checking out the rest of Wave 1, and I look forward to pre-ordering Wave 2 eventually when they put that up. But yeah, these are really nice, and I'm going to do reviews for the rest of Wave 1, and then at the end of all those reviews, I think I'm going to do a big like overall discussion about all these figures, and maybe do some more like in-depth comparisons with other lines and things like that. You know, obviously there's going to be a lot of people talking about these in G.I. Joe Classified, but I wanted to give the figures themselves their time to shine without, you know, clouding up the review with G.I. Joe comparisons. So maybe when I'm done with all these, when I'm doing an overall discussion about like the whole wave, I'll talk about how they compare to G.I. Joe a little bit more. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll be sure to leave some links in the description below so you could check out the ValaVerse website, and also so you could check out the video that they made showing you how to deal with the tight joints. Be sure to check out the description below for that stuff. Thank you very much. Peace.